In progress.
Idea that we are drawing down from the highest, most levels that there is um, to the from that highest, most levels, we are drawing down from the Seichel Nelem Kol Rayin, which is Helam Shebemetzias. That's an existing type of Helam, a Helam that has um, some type of level where it exists inside that Helam, the Seichel, similar to the fire that exists in some way, the flame inside the coal, and therefore, depending on what you do with it, you can even extinguish it by dropping it into water. Whereas in a flint rock, the fire that's in there is not in the way of a metzias. And the same thing, there's a seichel that's beyond a level of a metzias. The way you could draw it down as well, higher than koyach hamaskil, and from that type of level, it's it's a more nasa chacham nifla biyoser. It becomes an unbelievable chacham in a way that's incomparable to anything else. And just like the fire that comes out of a flint rock, there's nothing stopping it. It's without shinu, without change. It's something that will always give forth the fire, whereas the fire that comes out of a coal eventually will become extinguished, eventually will be used up. So the power of seichel that comes from higher than koyach hamaskil, that we take through a not just any yigia, but a yigia atzuma, just like we said, the difference between getting fire out of a coal. Getting fire out of a coal takes yigia, takes effort, and as we know with seichel as well, loya gaiti matzasi al tamin. It needs effort. It needs to be put in some type of investment in it, but it's not the same type of yigiyah like getting the fire out of a flint rock, like getting the fire, in our case, getting the seichel all the way out of higher than koyach hamaskil. So now the Rebbe is going to bring in the idea of seichel, the way it can come to a person in the way of Oir Chayzer versus Oir Yosher. So again, on the 6th page of the Maimer, page Yud, line 20. In general, this difference between drawing down the seichel from a helam shemitzias, like from koyach hamaskil, versus drawing down the seichel from higher than that, it's in general the difference between drawing down the seichel in a way of a direct and straight hamshacha versus hamshacha of a way of a returning and rebounding light. Here he doesn't explicitly say the difference, even though it becomes obvious from what he's going to say later, but just simply put, a straight revelation of Oir Seichel means that you're not meeting up with any challenges. Oir Yosher, the light shines, nothing blocking it, nothing challenging it, and it just comes out the way it is. That is similar to like regular light. Then there's Oir Chayzer, a rebounding light. A rebounding light means it's the type of energy that comes when something is blocking and standing in its way, and it like bounces off of that blockage, and it's so much more powerful, like the greater light that comes out of the darkness. Or when a person struggles very, very hard with difficulties and lots of questions, and he has to overcome all those questions and all those challenges. So when he does that, that taps into a much deeper level, as we're going to allude to at least. So he says in line 22, let's explain in that Maimer Samakvov, that Shagam Bishvila Gilu B'derech Oir Yashar, even when you have the Gilu of Oir Yashar, things are not smooth. Yesh Tzorech Ba'avoida Ad La'ofen Shel Yigiya V'Ishtadlos. There's a need of an avoida in a way that you need to put in effort, you need to put in toil, you need to work for it, like we said before. Lo yogaiti matzasi al tamin. There's no such type of thing as getting something, acquiring something, coming up with a understanding of something without having any toil. Everything needs to have toil, even the Ur Yasher. Afal became, but still in all. Since this revelation comes through a work and a effort in a way of a direct light, it's not something that's formed by challenges and questions and so on. It's just, I need to come with this idea and I need to figure this out, and I'm working on it. I'm not just waiting for it to come to me. So since it's in a way of avoid v'yigia, in a way of a straight light hareza, but even shal medida v'agbolo, it's in a way that's measured and has a boundary to it. Share inyan shal or yasher u'mashem nitan mel maila lefi erech hamakablim, ela shenikba ba'oifen sheyumshach haidei giyas hamakablim. So the Rebbe says like this: why is it that it's in such a type of way where, on the one hand, it is dependent on our avoida, but it's still in a way of Yasher, it's still in a way of Medida Vagbola. It's because it's given from above in an amount that's according to the level of the Makablim. The Makablim, the receivers, are ones that are limited. So since it's being given to us true from outside of us, but it's being given according to what we and our capabilities are, so therefore what's being given is limited as well. Yet, along with that, we need to have the Yigiyah. It's not just put on our plate and we just understand it. It's given in such a way where we need to reach for it, where we need to put in effort for it. That is all the Gili Ba'er Yashar, and that's the reason why it is limited. As opposed to a revelation that comes in a level of a rebounding light. It comes about through a lot of pressing, a lot of pressure, with powerful effort and toil. Like the expression of Zohar in Parshas Chayesara when this mimer was said, in the explanation, the pasuk, Ayin lo'irasa lekim zulasecha, top of page Yud Aleph, no eye has seen Hashem outside of you, outside of Hashem. Yasa l'mechake, he will do to those that are mechake to him. So the Zohar explains what's the meaning of the word mechake. Ilain inun. This is referring to those the dochkin lemilud de chachmasa, v'daikon leumchakon le, that they are pressing, squeezing, examining, and analyzing in matters of Torah and matters of wisdom, and awaiting it and struggling with it. Koilol, the Rebbe says, the word mechakim is also including gam loshen tikva atzumachulu, a powerful hope, meaning that it's something that they invest themselves in a way beyond just the regular yigia that's necessary to reveal from the Kayach HaMaskal, from the Helm from Metzias, the level of Dar Yasha. And when a person does this type of effort and toil, through this they draw down from the concealment that's not in a state of an existence. And what does it mean it's not in a state of existence? It's not in the existence of the revealed soul powers. It's even higher than the existence of his power from which all, in general, the ideas emanate from. That it's to such a degree that it's in his capability to change it in a way that's incomparable, like he said earlier, that this type of chacham nifla that comes through drawing down from this helam she'ein b'mitzias beyond the koyach hamaskil. So we say it's koyches shaloi ba'erech. It's incomparable. It's opened up by him like new channels, incomparable to anything he did before. ועד שאומרים על זה שזהו עניין של מציאה, to such a degree that we say it's an idea of a found object. Like we say, Yagaiti umatzasi dafke, if I struggled, if I toiled, and I found, specifically, I found, sheloi be'erech legabei ha-metzia sheboi de'ayigia b'derech ar yosher. It's incomparable to the found object that comes up through toiling in a way of the ar yosher. In other words, the Rebbe in many places emphasizes on this Maimer Chazal, Yagaiti umatzasi, that mitzia indicates something that is, one does not recognize and can tell where it comes from. It is so far removed that it's like finding something in the street. Finding something in the street, it's like came out of nowhere. The same thing, there's Yogaityu Matsasi, that the thing comes to you out of nowhere. Now, in other words, it's more than just quid pro quo. According to what you did, that's how much you get. No, the Rebbe always emphasizes Mitzia means that it's beyond what you did. But in that itself, there's a difference between Ar Yosher and Ar Chayzer. True, in Ar Yosher, there's also Yagaiti, and there's also the level of Matsasi that it's beyond what you imagined or what you did, etc., etc. It's in the way of a Mitzia. But in a way, when it's Ar Chayzer, that is completely a Mitzia. It's completely something out of anything that he was before. So now, he's going to bring this all back to the pasuk of the idea of Avram Zokin Baba Yamim, Vavai Berch Savram Bakoil, that we were looking to connect the two parts of the pasuk. It says in Ois Dalad, line 11, V'zeu gam achiluk bein Yoni shel Avram mitzad ha'atzmai l'gabe ini davai Berch Savram Bakoil. That's also the difference between what Avram Avinu was on his own level, Avram, and then Avraham, Seichel Nelam Mikol Rayan. So this was all the Seichel Nelam Mikol Rayan, the way he was at before Hashem gave him the bracha. The name Avram Mitzadatzmo Seichel Nelam Mikol Rayan. Avram on his own before Hashem gives him the bracha, he was called Avram. That means this was his level even before the bracha. Though it is concealed from every thought, this is a concealment that's associated with an existence. That's why it's called Seichel. It's to such a degree it's Seichel. It's one of the 32 paths in Chachma. There's in Sefer Yetzirah, it's brought down about the idea of the 32 paths of Chachma, and the Koyach HaSeichel Shebenefesh has in it these 32 paths of Chachma. So even when Avram was at the level of Seichel Anel Mikol Rayon, but it's as high and as concealed and as lofty as it was still one of those 32. Perhaps the highest of the 32, but it was still one of those 32 paths of Chacham. So it was still a level of Metzias and so on. Then there's the next stage, or the next step, and that's the other half of the pasuk. Line 17, in addition to this, there's the idea that Hashem benched Avram with everything. That we said before, that what everything means an all-inclusive bracha beyond every detailed bracha that Avraham Avinu received, beginning in Parshas Lech Lecha. Shezoi bracha shenimsheches milmayla lamato. This is a bracha that comes down from above to below. Shenikra b'shem koil. It's called koil. Why is the word koil used over here? Because Eliyoisai koil al hakoil. Because he includes in it everything, beyond the details. L'mayla mischachs l'protim. How come? Why is it beyond the division and the details? Because since it is completely removed from the idea of any existence, a concealment that's non-existence, and since it has no definition to it yet, it's all-inclusive. As soon as you have a Helam Shemitzias, so that's already defined, that's already limited. But a Helam Shein B'Mitzias is not defined, and therefore it's koil. Now, even though its source is from a place that's Helam Shein B'Mitzias, it doesn't remain over there. It's a bracha, it's a hamshacha from there. Even though afterwards it comes down into a Mitzias, that is coming originally, but from the Helam She'ein of Mitzias. It says in line 24, that's the Bakoil. What's the connection with the beginning of the Pasuk? The Inyan Zev Avai Berch Savram Bakoil, this idea that Hashem benched Avram with a level of Koil, this level of the drawing down from such a high level, the Helam She'ein of Mitzias, this followed after Avram was elderly, coming into days. What did we say about Zakin? It's about his learning. Meaning, after what occurred, after Avram Avinu doing things by his own power and his own strength, after it was added to him the letter Hey, and from Avram he became Avraham. So then this is all about what he got from above. He was called with the name Avram. Then Hashem gave him the name Avraham. But then he had his own work that he was doing. There was by him the idea of being an elder and coming into days. Zakin hu inyan limud Torah, zakin v'yeshiv v'yeshiva. Zakin is the idea of Torah study. He was an elder and sitting in yeshiva, like we learned earlier. It was by him in a way of a powerful toil and effort. The that he was pressing in matters and of wisdom of Torah, top of page base. So he was doing his part. By Yomim, another thing that he was doing his part in is that he was coming into days who inyan kiyam mitzvahs is the idea of fulfilling a mitzvahs. It's explained in Torah based on the Zohar. By Yomim, what does it mean? He comes in the days. It indicates that he was whole, he was complete, he was perfect in his avoidant fulfillment of mitzvahs that was by him, just like by the Torah study, he did it in the best way possible, in a way that he pressed and he was waiting and hoping and trying to figure out the Torah. The same thing. His mitzvahs was in a way of dachkin and mechakoyin. And as we know, that idea of Yomim goes on illuminations of the mitzvahs, and that every day, like we have the Taichel Baal Shem Tov, every day is a mitzvah, is another opportunity for mitzvahs. And Baba Yomim means all of his days were filled. He didn't lack mitzvahs in any day. So we have Zakin of Baba Yomim, everything that Avraham Avinu accomplished, his Torah study and his mitzvahs. Line 5. That's why it was also by him the idea of tests, challenges that Hashem challenged him, the Asar and Nisyonis. Like it says in the Pasuk, Avraham, that Hashem tested Avraham. And we know that the word Nisa is Gam Lashon Roimimus. The word Nisa in Hebrew, which is simply translated as a test, is also from the word exalted and high, like a flag upon the mountains that's raised up high. Like it's explained in Amar Chassidus concerning Nisyonis. So what is the idea of these tests? Avraham Avinu on his own, but his own zoking and his own baba yomim, he was on the level of the intellect that's concealed from every thought. But he was raised up to that is still a helam shemitzias, a concealment that's in existence. Until he reached a level of concealment that's not in existence. That's what comes down and becomes revealed in a rebounding light, like was explained previously at the end of the third sif. And tests, also in the practical sense, the pashtus idea of Oyer Chayzer. He meets up with a challenge. He meets up with something that wants to block him from doing the right thing, and he overcomes that. That's the idea of Oyer Chayzer. So we have in Avram's life the idea of Nisyonis, that this is the rebounding light that brought him to an elevated state, higher than he was before. Line 14, Oishei. From the idea that Hashem benched Avram with koil. And we said the koil is kefichu b'chinas helam sheinu v'metzias k'nis galel siv daled. That is a level of a concealment that is not in a state of existence, like we said before in Ois daled. Nimshach gama in the bakoil begematria bein yitzchak. Also comes down the level of bakoil, which is the numerical equivalent of bein, which is yitzchak. Ubehemshach lozem bagama inya the nisui yitzchak v'rivka. Also, in continuation of this comes the marriage of Yitzchak and Rivka. As we said, this is all one hemshech. Avram Zaken Baba Yamim, Hashem Baruch Avram Bakoil, and then there was the marriage. Explain the hemshech of Samach the Samach, the hemshech of Mamorim said by the Chasna, the Friedrich Rebbe, from the Rebbe Rashab. That was the Yom Haledes when the Rebbe said this Maimer Chav Cheshvan. The revelation of the power, of the infinite power of Hashem, is an idea of marriage. What's the idea? What does that indicate? Is because the idea of marriage comes down not only from the concealment that is in existence, even higher than that. And the Rebbe brings a practical example of this. Shalachein, for this reason, Gam Summa Moilit Shalom. Someone that Chas Shalom blind will give birth to a child that is whole and complete and is able to see. Like it's explained at length in many Mamorim. This indicates that we are reaching to such a high level beyond the Koiches HaGiluyim. Because in the Koiches HaGiluyim, this person, in the Helam Shebemetzias, this person is lacking the power of sight. This father is lacking the power of sight. But marriage is about drawing down from that level that is beyond the Helam Shebemetzias. It's from the very essence, and over there, the power of sight is B'Shleimus, and in marriage, he transmits that as well to the child. So we see that marriage is this same idea of tapping into and drawing down from Helam, She'ein v'Metzias, and that's why it comes directly after Havavaya Berch Savram Bakoil, that he benched him with this level of Helam, She'ein v'Metzias, because these are on the similar levels.